It is so amazing in this day and age. There are so many people that still do not use products like Adware or Spybot Search and Destroy or even the basic Windows Defender to protect themselves against malware, against malicious software, that kind of thing. They don't do it. I don't understand. None of this stuff costs a single nickel, and yet there's millions of people out there all the time. Their computers have slowed to a crawl or become unusable because they didn't take simple precautions. Is it their fault? Is it a Microsoft problem? Whose fault is it? Who's at fault at it? And I say that first and foremost, we all have to take some responsibility in this thing. But there are people that do this to make money. Okay, they're not out for anything to make money, and they're doing it in a legal fashion, and that's what's real scary. And this article, and it's from the Associated Press, and it was dated July the 8th. The article is titled "Lawmakers to Probe Adware Practices." The article goes on to say executives from major internet players, Microsoft Corporation, Google Inc., and Facebook are due for a grilling about online privacy in a Senate committee Wednesday, but the company likely to get the most scrutiny is a small Silicon Valley startup called Nebuad Inc. Nebuad has drawn fierce criticism from privacy advocates in recent weeks for working with internet service providers to track the online behavior of their customers and then serve up targeted banner ads based on that behavior. The article goes on to say that Nebuad's business model raises many of the same concerns as earlier generation of adware companies, those companies that developed software programs that when downloaded to a computer could track where a user went on the internet and mine that information to deliver online ads. Used to be, and it still happens today, that there is what I call Trojanware out there that basically it says it's one thing and does something else, or there's something that comes with it that you agree to install, maybe buried deep in the license somewhere. You know, when you install a piece of software called the end user license equipment, you know, that button you click, I agree, those things read like Gone with the Wind. It's just on and all this legalese, but sometimes buried in there is you give permission for the vendor to install downloaders, banner ads, pop stuff that'll go, popovers, pop unders, and you give permission to that by installing maybe a free screensaver. Well, free is not free to these guys. But this Nebuad is doing something a little different. The article goes on to say it works directly with internet service providers to scan their customers' web surfing habits and deliver the ads presumed to be of interest to them. So what they're doing is like eavesdropping on a telephone call all day long as you're talking, and then they're thinking of what we can call you at dinner time and sell you over the phone. It's a pure invasion of privacy. But what's even worse, internet service providers, any internet service provider, in my opinion, that would encourage this sort of behavior and would actually work with these guys. How much money your ISPs have spent trying to convince you that they're doing all this stuff for your security only to turn around and sell you out. They're selling you out, guys. They're selling you out for to this kind of thing. Now, for its part, Nebuad has stressed that it doesn't collect any personally identifiable information about consumers, and it requires your ISP to notify their subscribers about its advertising system. By that, I'm sure when you sign up, you'll have some type of license agreement to sign that'll read like Gone with the Wind, and somewhere in that language will be buried that they've got the right to do that. And I just think that is just so awful on so many different levels that we're putting up more and more and more all the time with this kind of stuff, that I'm sorry, I sometimes I wonder, will the internet, and particularly the web, will it be a viable thing a few years from now if the present trends continue? There's nothing worse, in my opinion, than visiting a website only to find that I can't use it because of all the popovers, pop-unders, and the Google AdSense ads that pop up, in addition to the video that fires up the moment I land on the home page. Now, let's face it, people use the internet and surf the web every single day to get the information that they need or that they enjoy, not to be barraged with advertising that they have no input on, can't control, and seemingly can't stop until they close out their web browser. You know, when are people going to learn that you don't kill the golden goose? And yet that's exactly what's starting to happen. And we need our congressmen and senators to say hell no to this sort of thing. We're not going to take it anymore. Look, advertising's fine. We know there's no such thing as a free lunch. And companies have a right to make a profit. But there's no reason to load you up with unwanted eavesdropping on what you're doing. We expect a certain amount of privacy when we surf the web. And it goes to reinforce what I've told people all along. Don't visit sites, don't say anything or do anything over the internet that you're afraid may come back home to roost someday. Everything you do is becoming tracked, data-based, and reported on to somebody in a suit somewhere. It's a simple matter of good old-fashioned common sense combined with basic human decency. I don't agree with these policies of these companies. I don't begrudge them the ability to make a living. But let's be honest about what we're doing here. We're basically giving you content for a price, a big price, and that's an invasion of your personal freedom. And that's not a very good way to run a company. We're seeing more and more of this all the time. Yes, I'm ranting, and I think that sometimes we all have to sit back and take a few minutes and realize that the service economy, the knowledge worker, we depend on the internet today to do our jobs, not to be bombarded with advertising. We want ads, we'll turn to free television or the radio, where we get 5 minutes of music and 20 minutes of commercials. If the internet becomes that, so what if you have all-you-can-eat broadband connection? It's just not going to be worth it.